Okay, so this lab is, I'm calling it True Lies. And you're supposed to test hypothesis testing. So what you're supposed to do is start by going here and playing around with this file, this game that I wrote. And what it is you're talking to somebody who lies half the time. And you won't be able to tell if they're lying, but sometimes you will. So what they're lying about is which spinner they use. Okay, so if they lie, it was an actual experiment they did on a different spinner of the various spinners that show up here. Okay, so for example, they're saying I used this spinner where this probability of success is 30%. Sample size of 15. The number of successes I got was 8. Maybe I think you're lying. So then I click that and I find out, well, it was a lie and you said it was a lie, you caught my lie. And the very first time you do this experiment, write down your IP address. And anytime you change, like substantially change where you are. If you just do this all in one sitting, you can just write down your IP once, but like if you have to stop and start again, write down your IP address and the date at which you're doing this and your validation code for all the ones you're recording. If you're just doing it for fun and you're not doing it as part of the lab, then you don't have to record that. But when you start actually doing your lab, then just make sure when you come back here it's a different one, because I just hit the back button and I didn't get another exercise. I have to click here to get a new exercise. Okay, so there you go. That's how you use the app. Here's just another one. I think this is a lie. It probably is a lie. Okay, and you may get 10 truths in a row or 10 lies in a row. That happens. Anyway, so you're going to write all this stuff down. So you're going to use this back sheet, and for example, it was a lie and I thought it was a lie. This happened twice, so I can put 2 little tally marks there, and then whatever my validation codes are in here. I don't care if you do it horizontal first or vertical first, but just put all your little validation codes in here, and keep your tally marks here as your experiment unfolds. Like if you get 5 of something, then put a line like that to make 5, and then go on to the next bundle, right? You've probably all used tally marks before. And in this case, if this was the results of my experiment, all of these guys are successes for me, and these are successes for me. So I had 13 trials. But I'm asking you to have between 20 and 25 trials. But let's just say, for example, this would be 7/13, and then you would find that as a decimal for the next stage. So the standard error is whatever that is, and then 1 minus that, multiply them together, divided by the number of trials, which is 13, then take the square root, put the standard error there, and then use this formula to find your 95% confidence interval for your own personal success rate in this experiment. Then choose any one of these. I recommend not choosing 95 because that's really boring, but I just included it for completion. So pick a confidence level for the remainder of the lab, and then you're going to go on to like the second part of the lab. Okay, so if you look up above, what we've done so far is just sort of walked through how you're going to do the first 3 steps. Okay, when you're done with all your data collection, so like don't start writing the lab till you've done all your data collection. And if you need to break this down, which I'm actually not, you can break that down and put that down here if you like, but I don't really expect you to show your work for that one unless you really want to. This one is the one I'm expecting to see the handwork for, so the work for that is going to go down there. But you're going to also do it on StatCrunch, and you're going to do all 6 on StatCrunch. Okay, so the idea is the first 20 to 25 times you run this app, it's just so you can get used to the app and see what it's doing. And then you're going to go in slow motion for 6 of them. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to really, really think about this. I could just reload this if I want a new problem. In this case, I'm going to put like 0.05 over here. So let's say 0.05 can go in here, and then the number of trials is, let's see, trials is 100, success is 2, trials is 100, success is 2, so p hat, I have to calculate this. P hat is the probability that of success that I measured. It's my measured probability of success, and that formula is right over here. P hat is successes over trials. And then I'm going to do this calculation by hand, which I explain in the instructions how you do it. But you have to find the right cutoff value for whatever confidence level you picked. Okay, so pick your confidence level for the whole lab. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that on StatCrunch. So I better log in. Okay, so now I'm logged into StatCrunch. And what was my magic thing? Stat proportion one sample with summary. So I go ahead and do this. Stat proportion one sample with summary. And number of successes was 2 out of 100 observations. And I want a confidence level 4.99. And then I compute. And so these lower limit and upper limit, I need to grab that. Okay. And I'm going to put it in here. I don't think I can paste in this app, but I'll find out. But you don't need that many digits. So I asked you for 4 digits, and so this would be the number of digits. You still have to put in that 0. So that's not fitting in my grid because but you're going to handwrite this. There you go, that fits. And then the high end is over here. It's called the upper limit or the U limit. I'm going to stick this over here. And again, I'm going to delete the extra digits. But then I'm going to round up. Okay? And then reject the null hypothesis. So if the value, so the probability, this 0.5, is outside of this range, I'm going to reject the null hypothesis. But it's not. 0.05 is well within this range, so I'm going to say no. Was it a lie? And was it a lie is was it actually a lie? So you have to now go ahead. So I've made my decision. I'm going to do what's called reject the null hypothesis, which means I'm not going to reject the null hypothesis. So if I do reject the null hypothesis, I'm claiming it was a lie. But I'm not rejecting the null hypothesis, so no means believe. So I'll just note this here. Reject H naught equals claim lie. All right, and so I'm going to go ahead back to the app and go ahead and say truth. I think it's the truth. And then it's going to tell me, well, it was the truth. Okay, so the validation code is 7. I was correct. Yes. Was it a lie? No. Okay, and you're going to be probably handwriting all this. I don't need this part typed. It's intended to be handwritten. I'm just typing because I'm on this laptop. Okay, make sure you put your date and your IP address. Don't forget your IP address. So what's going to happen when I go to grade is I'm going to have, okay, whatever today's date is, 10/29/25. There we go. And so then what I'm going to do when I go to grade your lab is I'm going to look at this file. This is all me. This is just me doing this. Notice I have a whole bunch of different IP addresses because I went from different device to different device. Here I think I was on my phone. I don't know, my iPad. I don't know. But notice I went back to the same device more than likely. Maybe not. But each time I do something, I'm going to write down the validation code that goes with the IP address, and then here's all the data. So I can verify that you are not telling a lie, like the app is. Okay? And I think that's all I need to tell you. I guess just generally, once you've filled in the data, take a clean photo of it. And usually it's best if you just take it, at a bright window or outside so that you get a really clean photo. And then you can upload that as the data for your assignment. If you can, please upload a JPEG or a PNG, because these HEIC or whatever is annoying because I can't read it. I do have software that can read it, but then I have to pull it up on a special piece of software. So please, if you can, please export as PNG or JPEG if you can. Okay. And then make sure you write a nice introduction and conclusion. This should all make sense to somebody who doesn't know what this app is, wasn't in this class. You have to provide the content, the context and the content. Everything, because the person who's reading it does not know the context, does not know the app. Don't say yes or no to anything, except for in your sheet, of course. Here it's just going to be a table of results. Okay? All right, I think that's enough.